Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where I speak with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and out of the ring, as well as their work that they do outside of the ring, charity work, community service work, helping others. Absolutely love to talk to people about paying it forward. And I've got a very special guest with me today. She is a lifelong fan of professional wrestling from the St. Louis area, and she's currently on the board of the Cauliflower Alley Club, which is a nonprofit organization for wrestlers and boxers. And she's received an award and is up for another award coming up pretty soon that we're going to talk about with her. Very exciting. I am very pleased to welcome Miss Darla Staggs to Wrestling with Heart. Welcome, Darla.
Thank you, Stanley. I'm very honored and pleased to be here with you.
Sure. Pleasure's all mine. So you're from St. Louis. Tell me about your childhood and upbringing.
Okay, so I am the oldest daughter of four, and I've been a wrestling fan my entire life. My sisters, not so much, but both my parents were wrestling fans, and both sets of grandparents were wrestling fans, and so I really didn't stand a chance.
It was all in the family.
Yes, it
was all in the
was.
family.
And the first wrestling match that I ever attended live was January of 1959. I was 6 months old. Of course, I don't remember it, but Pat O'Connor wrestled Dick Hutton for the NWA title, and Pat O'Connor won that night. And my mom used to tell a story that she didn't know what was going on, but when they announced Pat as the winner, my dad took off down around ringside, ran around the ring with me in his arms, and when he came back, she said, "George, what in the world were you doing?" And he said, "I don't know, I was just so excited I couldn't stay in my seat." So kind of a funny story that they used to tell, and I've been a fan ever since. I mean,
Yeah.
watched it every week on television. As a little girl, my one set of grandparents, we had season seats at the Kiel Auditorium, and we sat on the aisle where the guys walked down the aisle, and my grandma had to always have the in seat because she wanted to wipe the sweat off their backs.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So pretty good times. And then yeah, I went through my childhood, and then when I turned 16, I was old enough to go to Wrestling at the Chase. And from 1974 until Sam retired, I didn't miss a TV taping, and I didn't miss a match at Kiel. I had front row season seats, and I just got to know the fans and got to know a lot of the wrestlers, got to know Sam Mushnick, who was an awesome man and best promoter there ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And I became friends with Larry Matisick, and he was probably one of my best friends. In fact, I was with him the day before he passed away.
Really?
Yeah. I was able, because I live in Minnesota now. So whenever I go home for a visit, he was my main priority other than my family to get to see. And then, of course, I always tried to plan my visits around Herb shows because, I love Herb and
Yeah,
CW. That's my home people.
definitely. Herb's been a guest on the show, and I've seen some shows of SICW online, and it's just really brings you back to that old school atmosphere. As somebody
Yes.
that's from Nashville and has grown up watching a lot of the Tennessee territories, there's nothing like that feeling of good versus evil, that classic story. You got into it through your family, but was there something about professional wrestling that really, got you hooked, and said, wow, I really love this, got you engaged?
Well, I think, when I was younger and was watching it with my family, it was just the excitement. And, when I was a child, of course, my heroes were the baby faces.
Hmm.
I would never ever cheer for we called them the bad guys.
The
And it
heels.
was, yeah, the heels. And it was just the excitement of getting to see them. And I don't know. I never was a fighter or tough person or anything, but it was just fun to sit there and watch them and to be able to cheer and see how exciting, especially my dad and my grandpa would get. I can remember my grandpa, he would sit on the edge of his stool and, throw punches at him. And I just love the excitement of it. And then as I got older, and was able to go with my friends and I, met a lot of the wrestlers. It more or less became friendships that we made and we bonded. I mean, some of my closest friends are wrestlers and wrestling fans, and they're more like family to me than friends are. So it's kind of, like I said, as I got older, it was a lot to do with the friendships that I
Yeah.
made. I mean, I still enjoyed watching the sport itself, but after I got to know a lot of them and know how the business worked, sometimes it wasn't quite as exciting as when I was a child and didn't know
Sure.
what was going on, you know what I mean? But it's been a love of my life is what I always say, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
So you had mentioned like you rooted for the baby faces. Who were like some of the people you really idolized or really loved watching?
So my first idol and hero, and I don't know, not a lot of people know this name unless you're from St. Louis, was John Paul Henning. Do you
Hmm.
ever hear of him?
No.
He was,
No.
he was a mainstay. He lived in the St. Louis area, and he was a top baby face in St. Louis then, along with Cowboy Bob Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows
Mm-hmm.
who he is.
Yeah. Yep.
Those were two of my early heroes. Then as I got older, of course, my all-time favorite NWA world champion was Jack Briscoe.
Oh yeah.
I I mean, he was awesome. I love the Funks, and I used to love watching Jack and Dory Jr. wrestle. Nobody, I don't care what anybody says, nobody could do 60 minutes in the ring like the two of those could together.
Mm-hmm.
So they were my top notch. And then as I got older, there were a few heels that I would cheer for.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of Terry Funk. I loved him. Um, I never really was a big fan of Harley Race, even though he was another great champion. I loved Gene Kaniski. Dick Murdoch was one of my favorite heels. That guy was, oh, he was amazing. But yeah, so at different ages, I changed my opinion of things a
Yeah.
little.
Oh yeah. I feel like for me, like as I got older, I enjoyed rooting for the heels more, or at least appreciating the heels that I grew up watching as a kid versus the baby faces. And I just understand like how good their work was, like their promos and
It was.
their
Yeah.
brawling, their style of wrestling. You know, it's just a different time period, back then compared to now. So
Yeah.
uh
And
the
I will mention this because I am super excited. I saw this just before I logged on here.
mhm.
So the High Flyers, Jim Brunzell and Greg Gagne, they were my all-time favorite tag team. I'm friends with both of them, And Herb just announced that Greg's
Yeah.
going to be at the Fan Fest in May.
That's very exciting. You're now part of the Cauliflower Alley Club, which is a nonprofit organization. Tell me about what you do, and you've got some awards from there. So tell me about a little bit about what made you want to get involved with the Cauliflower Alley Club.
So I became a member in 2004. Very good friend of mine, Jim Melby, who is deceased now, he talked me into going to my first one. So I've been going since 2004. I've been a member since then. I am a lifetime member. And about 3 years ago, I got a call and from the lady who was the treasurer at the time, and she asked me if I would be interested in being their benevolent chairperson. And I'm like, oh, Darlene, I don't know that I want to get involved that much. Well, whenever somebody asks me something, I always discuss it with Herb, because whatever Herb tells me to do, that's what I'm going to do. And so we talked about it, and he said, I think that would be good for you. He said, people know you, you like to help people. So that's what I started with about 3 years ago. So what we try to do is wrestlers that have been in the business, they don't necessarily have to be big time wrestler, any wrestling organization. If they've been in the business for 3 years and they fall on their luck, you know, financial difficulties because of job loss or medical issues, and they need financial assistance, they fill out a form and it comes to me, and then I call him and talk to him, and I send it to the board and we vote on it, and then we take care of it like that. I mean, we have helped a lot of people. So I've been doing that for about 3 years. Um, the early part of last summer, they asked me to be on the executive board. So I now am on the executive board. Um, so I have a vote on everything that comes up. I help out a lot at CAC at the registration desk with the raffle tickets and whatever I can do, wherever they need my help, that's where I help at. And it's been really quite interesting, and you know, blessed to be able to help people and see, before I would just go as a fan. Now I'm getting to see exactly what CAC is all about and what they do to help people. And
Yeah.
it's a wonderful organization.
It seems like it's a great organization to be a part of. What do you find the most rewarding about being a part of the CAC, the Cauliflower Alley Club?
Getting to talk to these people and knowing that there is something that, not me personally, because it's not my money, but knowing that I can get to the right people that can help them in their time of need. And that's just what it's all about. And I love that part of CAC, and I love being able to be involved in it and getting to help these people.
Yeah. That's always good. It's good to give back, help out as much as
Oh,
you can.
absolutely.
And I don't know if you've been, but they've had, a lot of banquets and events in the last several years. They had one, I believe, in Las Vegas last fall. Did you attend, or have you ever attended any of the ceremonies?
I have been there every year since 2004.
Okay.
And they have them every year in Vegas. They give awards, they invite legends, and they'll get up and present them their award. And they have actually two banquet ceremonies. They'll have one on the first night, and it's a more casual, and they'll have people at that one that they give awards to. And then the next night they have their big sit down banquet with more legends, with, all the awards are important, but, like they have the Luthez Award and, those type awards, they usually give those out the second night. And it's a big sit down fancy banquet. And it gives you the chance. I mean, there are wrestlers and legends that come to this that aren't honored. And they still come every year. And it gives you a chance to be able to talk to the guys. And because it's not like a fan fest, they don't call it a fan fest, it's the Cauliflower Alley reunion. And they will have, they let the guys, if they have books or stuff they want to sell, they let them do that, but it's not a fan fest. And they have seminars. Some of the legends do the seminars. There are other people that do them, but yeah, it's a really fun event for 3 days.
Sounds very exciting. And you got an award back in 2011, the Red Bastien Friendship Award. How did that feel?
Oh my gosh. It was breathtaking. It was just amazing. And I can remember so what happened was they had me up on the stage as a presenter to give this award to somebody else. And because they wanted it to be a surprise to me, because that year the Gilberts got the family award, Rick Martel got an award, and I was so excited because Rick was another one that was one of my favorites, and we were good friends. And it was Morgan Dollar at the time. He was on the board, and I kept telling him, I said, this year just can't get any better. I'm so excited. And they went as far because they wanted to give me the Friendship Award. So they acted like we were giving this award to Morgan Dollar. So they had me and a couple other ladies on stage to present it to him. And I was the last one to say something about him. And he gets to the podium and he turns around and he said, I just want to let everybody know that this has been a big lie this whole year. I am not getting the Friendship Award. And he turned around and he goes, Darla, come here. This award is going to you. I about fell over because they even went as far as they made a fake award up with his picture and name on it and sent it to me, asking me what I thought of it. And so I don't know what I said. I said a few words, and when I walked off the stage, Rockin' Robin was there, and I had never met her before. And she come over to me and she said, I just want to congratulate you. She said, your face was just priceless. And I didn't know what to say because I was there to congratulate the legends, and here they're all coming to me and, congratulating me. I was so honored, and I was I was very humble, and I just love it. So yeah, I was very honored to get that award.
And you're going to be up for another award coming up really soon. Tell me about that.
Oh my gosh. That is the 2023 Sam Mushnick Award. And of course, I don't even know if I can talk about this one without crying, because I've already told you how special Sam and St. Louis was to me. The only other person that has gotten this award is Barbara Goodish, who is my very best friend, and she'll be there. And I'm very honored to be able to get that when two of my dearest friends are being inducted into the St. Louis Hall of Fame, which is Jerry Briscoe and JJ Dillon. And St. Louis will, no matter where I'm at, where I'm living, St. Louis will always have my heart, because I've born and raised there, and St. Louis wrestling will always be the one for me. And when Herb told me, I just cried. And, Larry used to always call me a big crybaby. He said, Darla, you cry at everything. I'm like, I can't help it. But yeah, this is one of the most special things that's ever happened to me. My entire family's going to be there, and they're not even wrestling fans. But yeah, I'm pretty excited and pretty humbled about it.
It's very emotional for you. It's exciting. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. That's going to be happening in May, right? That's a big fan fest.
May 13th.
May 13th. Wow. So cool to see that. Why do you feel so passionate about helping not only with wrestlers but in your community?
I don't, I was just raised that way years ago. So before I work for a bank. I've been with them 42 years. I'm retiring at the end of July, but I worked for 3 years for the Salvation Army before that. I was their social worker, and people came to us for help, and I would have to interview them, and you have to decipher what's going on with them and stuff, and it always made me feel good to be able to talk with people that were in need and help them in, no matter if it was food or clothing or money. And I don't know, it's just, I guess it's because that's how my parents raised us girls, that you help others, and to see people who are less fortunate than you are, and to be able to get them some kind of help, it really touches my heart. And it's such a blessing to know that you've just helped them to be a little bit happier in their life. You know what I'm saying? It,
Yeah.
it, I love it.
And they obviously have stuff around the holidays, Christmas time. So the more stuff you can give to somebody, especially a young kid who's,
Oh, absolutely.
that's heartwarming to be able to do that.
Yes.
Well, Darla, this has been wonderful. Being able to talk to you about your life and your adventures in the wrestling business. Where can people find more about you and the Cauliflower Alley Club?
They can find me on Facebook at Darla Staggs, Staggs, and Cauliflower Alley. We do have a Facebook page. Um, it's just Cauliflower Alley on Facebook, but our official website is Cauliflower Alley Club, all one word. Let's see, caulifloweralleyclub.org. That is our official website, and you can find all of the information about our reunion, any news we have to share. You can find on that website about all of the past inductees that have been honored at our reunion, and it'll tell you how you can become a member. It's $25 a year, and I think you pay that through PayPal, and I think there's like a $2.50 charge extra. And then for the you can become a lifetime member. I believe it's $300, and they send out bulletins 3 or 4 times a year. And then if you're a member, that will allow you to come to our reunions in Las Vegas. Of course, you have to pay your own hotel room, and you have to purchase a ticket if you want to go to the 2 banquets. It's $150. That includes all of the seminars and all of the events that we have for 3 days.
Wow, that's very cool, very exciting. Darla, congratulations. Very
Thank you.
excited for you. Happy for you. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, and you're more than welcome to come back on Wrestling with Heart.
Thank you so much, Stanley. I enjoyed being on with you.
All right. Take care. This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.